Hey you guys, welcome back to Lisa and Company, where we are doing part 2 of our $1 fall pumpkins and decor videos. If you love budget-friendly DIY design and decor, then make sure you hit that subscribe button so you know every time we upload a video. Alrighty, first up today we have this super simple DIY, a little frame from Dollar Tree, and I love these ones, and a little pumpkin piece from Dollar Tree as well. I am just going to dry brush the tiniest bit of white paint right over top of this, and then we're going to paint the pumpkin, and believe it or not, this is pretty much it for this DIY, and wait till you see how cute it turns out. Just a little bit of gray paint. I'm going to put some shading on this pumpkin just so it's a little more dimensional and not quite so flat looking. It's really easy. Don't be intimidated. I put a little too much on. I went over it with the white paint. I added a little gray paint. You guys, it's paint. You can sand it off or go over it, whatever works. Don't worry about making mistakes. I'm going to add a really cute tiny twine bow, glue it on, and then simply attach this with the clip right on the frame, and you guessed it, we are done. I am crazy about all the little pumpkins they get at Dollar Tree, but I'm not always crazy about the colors, so I have a really easy fix for these. First thing I did was take them out to the garage and hit them with a coat of primer. Now I'm going to use my Rust-Oleum chalked paint in both white and gray and give these some great texture. I am just going to layer the paint. I actually change my mind as I'm going through this. So I go from, just adding a little bit of color in the ribs to giving it an all over wash. I just kept working and working and working, and that's what I love about paint. Like I said on that first DIY, you can't mess this up, because the worst thing, I would have just taken them out to the garage and re-primed them and started again. So just watch along. It's much easier to see than explain. I just went along and layered and layered and layered. If you guys are enjoying this video and love to see lots of Dollar Tree $1 DIYs, make sure you hit that like button. It helps me know what kind of content to create for you. And if you have any ideas or things you want to see, make sure you tell me down in the comments. I've been so excited to do this DIY for a while, so I'm just using one of the Dollar Tree pumpkins and some of these stickers because I was inspired by this set that I saw out in a really high-end store, and I thought I can totally do that to one of my fall pumpkins. After removing the stem, and we're not going to use that, we're just peeling these strips right off the backing and placing them on the pumpkin. Now these ones weren't quite long enough, so I did ended up adding a little piece, but there's plenty on this sheet to get this pumpkin done. And then, are you ready for it? This is the hard part, you guys. We're gonna paint it. Yep, we're gonna use the Rust-Oleum chalk paint, and we are going to paint this baby. I know, you're blown away and totally surprised, aren't you? Sorry, I just had to go there today. Now, here's my pro tip for you. If I was going to do this again, and I'm actually seriously thinking of doing a whole collection of these, I would use a foam brush to paint it. I found the way the bristles were hitting this, it was nudging some of them a little bit, or maybe I should have just pressed down a little harder on those pearly, blingy stickers, but either way, I would use the foam brush next time. And for finishing touches on this one, I am actually using a wine cork for the stem. Don't know why I never thought of this before, but I might have had a couple of these kicking around lately. And this beautiful chevron burlap ribbon I picked up at Dollar Tree is going to have a bow that will finish this off just so. You guys, this was one of those days where my brain and my fingertips were just not speaking to each other, and I kid you not, I think I worked on this bow for like 5 minutes. The point is, we finally got there, and when my mother watches this video, she is going to die when she sees how I actually put it together. But Mom, you know what? The bow's done, and the pumpkin looks cute, and that's all that really matters. And I'll have to relearn my brain and my fingers how to make bows properly for the next video. This is another one of those DIYs that I have been dying to do ever since I accidentally almost did it. So this is a roll of the Dollar Tree wired jute, and the day I took it out of the package and it kind of sprung out, I thought, oh my goodness, that looks like a pumpkin. And I had this idea to do a really cute stem on it. So stay tuned, watch and see just how easy this is. So I literally took a few inch piece off the end of the roll. I have wired it around the center and I'm gluing the ends just to make sure it stays in place. And look at this, family. I actually remembered to use my little finger protectors. I am so proud of myself. This is the tough part. Once that's dry, you're just going to slowly spread that around, and because it's wired jute, it is so easy to manipulate it and get it to look exactly how you need it. I just messed around with it for a few minutes, and as you can see, it looks like a pumpkin. Now we're going to get started on the stem, and I had a really cool idea for this. I decided to use beads and put them on wire as well so that I could give that kind of a twisted, gnarly look like a really cool pumpkin has. I have this collection of beads, and I have some from Amazon as well, so I'm just going to dump them all out and pick the best ones. And I decided to go with kind of a largest to smallest, so it would look like a real organic stem that would be larger at the bottom and smaller at the end. So using my needle nose pliers, I'm just making a little almost like knot at the end by winding it around, and then I'm going to string those beads on just like I said, smallest to largest, largest to smallest, whichever way you're doing it. Do the same thing and wind it up. Put a drop of hot glue on there just to make sure that it all stays together, and then my stem is done. That you can find in the entertaining section at Dollar Tree, as well as these buffalo check or gingham, whatever you want to call it, napkins, which I also picked up at Dollar Tree. Now you want to make sure before you start working with any napkin that you're only using one ply. Some napkins are 3, some are 2, but you need to take it apart because otherwise the Mod Podge will only stick to one part of it. You're going to have a hot mess on your hands. Okay, you may be wondering why I left this overhang on the edges, so let me explain. Because this container has angled sides, and because this is a straight plaid pattern, I couldn't just overlap the sides or have it wrap around the corners, or the pattern would be all Okay, wonky. That's all I got for you today. So what I decided to do was just trim it off once it was dry, and then I'm going to go back over and give it a whole top coat of Mod Podge to give it a really great finish and make sure any of those edges are well sealed and everything looks super. I have picked up a ton of great Dollar Tree florals this early fall so far. So there is no science to this. I am just going to put them in until they look pleasing to me. So you use whatever you've got, whatever you can get your hands on, and do what works for you, your home, and your decor. I go back and forth a few times. I add things, I take things out, but I am loving some of what they've had at Dollar Tree this year. These green, they're like a greenery, but they have seeds on them. Love them, can't get my hands on enough of them, and keep checking out the 3 stores in my city to see if I can get more of them. This is without a doubt my favorite part of every video, showing you guys everything finished and come together. And I think if I had to pick, this little guy would probably be my favorite, closely followed by the wired jute pumpkin. I am loving the way some of these fall DIYs are coming out this year and having so much fun sharing them with you. Thank you guys for stopping by Lisa & Company. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow us over on our social media channels so you know every time everything's going on. We'll see you next time.